Hello guys, welcome back to Spice Channel TV. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's decision to deploy 115 billion naira for the purchase and distribution of foodstuff is well-intentioned but quite flawed, in the sense that these short-term handouts are not the main solution to Nigeria's hunger crisis. Instead, the government of Tinubu should focus on rejuvenating the agricultural sector and enhancing the capacities of the Bank of Agriculture, thereby fostering cooperation between relevant agencies and addressing the issues of open grazing through ranching and state policing is also crucial. By adopting these approaches, Nigeria can as well achieve sustainable food security and improve the overall being of its citizens. Distributing food and cash to states through state governors, as seen in the previous effort, has not yielded significant sustainable results. The fundamental issue lies in the nature of these handouts, and all these things that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing, they are just temporary fixes that do not really address the root cause of hunger and poverty in Nigeria. And once the distributed foodstuff is consumed by Nigerians, the problem still remains. The problems remains unchanged. In fact, we will still be faced with this problem. So rather than focusing on occasional handouts, the government trying to share palliative, the federal government should try as much as possible to adopt a more, tangible approach that can tackle this unprecedented hunger and suffering in the country. And this calls for a shift in focus from the Tinubu's administration going towards a short-term relief to a long-term solutions aimed at boosting productivity and ensuring food security. The agricultural sector remains a crucial area that needs to be addressed. And if we can go into this, then we would yield substantial benefits. To achieve meaningful transformation, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture must undergo sufficient reforms. Now, this involves not only restructuring the ministry, but also implementing innovative programs and schemes that can drive productivity and sustainability. Now, I don't think this current Minister of Agriculture have the intellectual capacity to drive home the reforms needed to overcome the hunger crisis in our country. And we know that the Bank of Agriculture plays a very crucial role in supporting agricultural activities. However, it seems that the Bank of Agriculture has deviated from its mandate, and the federal government must take steps to enhance the operational and the financial capacities of the Bank of Industry, ensuring that it can effectively support farmers and agro businesses by providing adequate funding and resources. And the Bank of Agriculture can help stimulate agricultural production and contribute to national food security. You see, at this point, there are so many things that need to be put in place so that we can have a shot at creating employment opportunities and also reducing poverty and hunger in Nigeria. Now, we know that with what's going on, Nigeria needs to give its shot at agricultural productivity. We have to give Nigeria a shot at agricultural productivity, and this is one of the significant challenges we are facing in Nigeria with this issue of open grazing. That is why the Senate, they are debating on the practice of open grazing and how they will put a ban to it, because this has led to a series of conflicts between farmers and herders, which has led to destructions of crops and even loss of lives and livestock and people. Now, prohibiting this open grazing would promote ranching, just as the Senate are still having discussions. But due to some northern senators who are hell-bent on frustrating the effort of banning this open grazing, they tend to paint the cows and livestock as humans that have rights. So this has really hindered the shot at banning open grazing in Nigeria. But these discussions are ongoing. Now, this conflict between farmer and herder has really put a stern on our agricultural productivity. So at this point, every state government needs to implement laws and regulations that would make sure they keep this open grazing in check, just to ensure a peaceful coexistence between farmers and herders. That is why Nigerians are kicking against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's option of sharing foodstuffs and money to Nigerians, because this will not solve the problems of hunger and food insecurity in Nigeria, because these are the major problems we are facing in this country. And if Tinubu should go ahead with this plan, how long would it last? How long would this benefit Nigerians? For how long will we continue like this, the president sharing palliative to Nigerians? And we know that this is just another means of them embezzling money in Nigeria. I mean, this 115 billion naira that is being used for the purchase of foodstuffs and distribution to Nigerians can go a long way in ensuring our agricultural productivity. If the government can work with the BIO, the Bank of Industry, and other agencies to make sure they empower farmers, and they should look at insecurity. The government should also try to work on insecurity in Nigeria, which has hindered the growing of crops in some region, farmers being scared to go to farm as a result of all these things. So the suggestion of Tinubu's government, Tinubu's administration, going about sharing about 115 billion naira for the purchase of foodstuffs is really laughable, and it is not the final solution to our problems. And this money is just a waste, because it will not solve any problem. It will solve this, it might solve the problem temporarily, but afterwards the problem persists, and Nigerians will keep on crying of hunger and poverty here and there. So the president needs to work on things that can be able to push this country forward. We need to work on our productivity, especially as it relates to agriculture and the food we eat. So the APC is just focusing on things that doesn't really matter, irrelevant things. The president should have to set his priorities straight. Him releasing money for the purchase of this food stuff is just a waste of funds. And I bet you this money would end up in some private accounts, like what we saw with the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. How Madam Betta Edu was said to have embezzled huge sum of funds meant to be shared to Nigerians. We also had the case went, and afterwards they suspended her. Okay, the money that she embezzled, has that money been recovered? What did they do with the money that has been recovered? So this money will end up going into private accounts. Now this money should be channeled directly into agriculture that would help farmers. But now this Tinubu's administration, they've said no. When people try to come up with ideas to tell them this is what they should do and this is what they shouldn't do, they will tend to attack such persons and give such persons name. So this Tinubu's administration is an administration characterized on misplaced priorities. That is what we tend to see, because at the end of the day, corruption and embezzlement would enter, and this would just be an audio money, and it wouldn't get to the hands of Nigerians. So guys, what are your thoughts on this? I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts concerning this in the comment section. Thank you.